All right, all right. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm here with my good friend Hollinden, who's out of Louisville, Kentucky, and we're going to talk to him about his story and learn more about what makes him tick. So, good afternoon, Tim.
Hello, Ed. Thanks for having me on today, man.
Yeah, thanks for your time. I appreciate it. So if you guys are loyal watchers of Team Double E podcast, you saw Tim interviewed me a couple weeks ago, and now I'm going to get his side of the story. So how did it all begin? How did you get into real estate, Tim?
Oh gosh, it probably goes back to childhood. My father was a architect, so I kind of grew up on job sites, and he was not a residential architect by any means, but I was not too unfamiliar with construction and just a passion for it from that point. I was a home builder for a while, and just always have loved the industry in general.
Cool, cool. So when did you get licensed? About
Uh,
20 years ago, right?
Yep, 20 years ago, August of 2002, I believe. Yep, 2002. Yeah, that'd be 20 years. Started out at a ERA franchise, was there for about 7 years because I didn't know any better. Didn't know there were things like caps and better splits. And, went to the first person that I interviewed because I respected an agent that worked there. But have no ill will. Loved my broker. God rest his soul. He's gone today. But we had a good 7-8 years with them. And I went on into the Remax world. I bought my own Remax franchise and grew it to 30 some agents. Sold it. There's a reason for that. I'll get into that as part of the story here in a minute. Kind of a personal reason, but it's kind of one of the reasons I'm at EXP today. But sold the brokerage, stayed on and ran it for 3 years for the new owners. And at the end of my 3-year no compete, which coincided with the buyout agreement, I found EXP again. And we'll talk about that too. But I found it and moved my entire Hollinden team to EXP. Whoops, other side. Everything's backwards.
Oh yeah.
Moved everybody to EXP in April of 2018, and it's just been a life-changing experience, Ed. I know a lot of people say that, but it's just blown me away. It's exceeded every expectation I had.
Cool. Yeah, let's backtrack a little bit. So you owned your own brokerage. Now, okay, so it might have been a personal reason, but like, why did you give that up? Why did you decide to sell your franchise?
Yeah, well, it is a personal reason, and actually, I love to tell this story. As bad as a story as it is, I mean, the ending was good, but I like to tell the story because I think most people feel like they're invincible, and bad things aren't going to happen to them with health or life or spouses or family and what have you. But at 49 years old, I found myself on September 11th of all days having quadruple bypass heart surgery.
Ooh,
and I'm a Christian man. I thought the Lord was calling me home. And why might you ask there? I had no physical reason I should have been in that hospital bed that day. From a typical scenario, I did not have high blood pressure, did not have high cholesterol, had no heart disease in my family history, never smoked, social drinker, all the things you hear about that put somebody in that situation. That just wasn't me. So I really thought my time was up and my maker was calling me home for a different purpose. So in 48 hours, I got my house in order. And the reason I tell that story as well is because as a Christian, I always wanted to give back more. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if God takes me out of this world today, I haven't done near what I had planned to. And I felt bad about that. Now, my family would have been fine. They had life insurance policies. We owned several properties, and it was a calamity of bad feelings at the time. But obviously I made it through that. And that was September 11th. As I said, the following January, February, this would have been 2014 at the time, we were sitting in church and the sermon series was entitled Simplify. And that spoke to me again. I'm like, okay, God twice now is telling me to make some changes in my life. So Still owned the Remax at the time, but that Simplify sermon series, that heart surgery, led me to believe, you know what, life's too short. I'm going to make some changes. I'm going to free up some additional time. I decided to sell the brokerage. Yep. And wasn't really because I wanted to. I was never planning on it. I said, you know what, this is a good thing. It was at the time, it made my family debt free. Some months later, we bought another lake house and financed that, so we didn't stay debt free for long. But I tell you that because debt free eliminates a lot of stress. And I didn't tell you that part, but my cardiologist said, you know, you have none of the symptoms. You should not be here. You must just be too stressed. I'm like, well, I don't feel stressed, but I think we all work to our own stress level without even realizing it. And that leads to EXP. You know, I didn't want to be that real estate agent that has to sell houses until the day they die, because most do, unfortunately. That's right. I don't know about you, Ed, but I've never, ever, ever been to a realtor retirement party, but I've had 3 realtor friends die in the last year and a mortgage person in the last year, people very close to me. And you know, as agents, we're on that transactional treadmill for the rest of our life, because as agents, we have a hard enough time saving for quarterly estimate payments, yet alone retirement. So I looked at EXP really, really hard because it satisfied that goal that I had, that goal to, you know, eventually be able to slow down, maybe even walk away from sales and still live a very, very comfortable, financially free life as an agent, and not be selling real estate, unlocking doors for buyers until I was, you know, 80 years old or whenever I'm called home for real this time.
Yeah. I completely get that. And, you know, the stress sneaks up on you. Running a brokerage is a lot of stress. Maybe you think maybe you handled it well, but it could have been underlying, you know, because it's a lot of stress. Let's face it.
Could have been. I mean, I to this day, I loved it. I didn't feel stressed about it. My cardiologist literally said, Tim, if you hadn't noticed this working out in the gym every morning, that tightness in your chest I was feeling, and I never had a heart attack, thank God, but I felt it. I felt something was amiss. But she told me, she said, yeah, you were 80% clogged in all 4 arteries. You literally would have died in your recliner watching TV one night had you not have noticed that. I mean, so I feel blessed that I figured that out early, obviously.
Absolutely.
But
it's funny how life just throws you changes like that. So, so then you come over to EXP. So you got your whole Hollinden team, and you're running a team,
right?
And you're growing your team production, right? Obviously, I know that you've received a bunch of awards, both at Remax with the Diamond Club and at EXP with the ICON ICON Award. So how's the ICON Award compare to other awards that you got at Remax? And what's the ICON Award mean to you?
Well, there's only 2 awards that mean anything to me beyond, gosh, I got plaques and trophies and certificates, you know, pieces of paper and wood for years. And, you know, they make you feel good when you get them, but they have no value. I mean, they're not even worth the wood that they're made out of. In fact, I'm getting ready to move right now, and I've got an entire box of plaques that I'm getting ready to throw in the trash.
Me too. I just did that when I purged. What am I going to do with all these plaques, you know?
Right. I wish I had the props here. I literally had the box in my garage. I could show you that box.
I believe you.
Trophies, but no, the difference, the Remax Diamond Award was given to agents that can earn $1 million in commission in a calendar year. So I'm proud of that.
Yeah, sure.
But it was a glass trophy worth about $20-25. Right. The ICON Award, in comparison, to answer your question, is also a glass trophy. But the difference is that glass trophy came with $16,000 worth of EXPI, the public company stock. And that's life-changing, because that $16,000 stock award in 2018, the first year I won it, and I won it 3 times in a row, it grew. You know, our stock was $3 and change on the average in 2018 on an adjusted split basis. We did have a stock split since then. So I've
Right.
adjusted for that. But and today it's trading around $4. So let's just say it's 3 times more valuable than it was, or I said $4. It's trading around $12 or $13, which is
13,
about
yeah.
3 times more valuable than it was then. So it just, hopefully continues to grow and grow and grow. So it's not just a $16,000 stock award anymore. It's a $48,000 stock award based on today's prices. Obviously stocks go up and down, but at least I have stock, because at Remax or at ERA, I didn't have stock. There was no stock award. We didn't own the company as agents. So that's been life-changing.
Yeah. How does that make you feel, owning part of the company?
Oh, it's phenomenal. I mean, the whole culture of the company is totally different, because it's not like us and the broker that's getting an override on my sales and saying, good job, Tim, pat on the back, go get another sale. Now it's, your every decision you make is looked at from an owner perspective. And because we all wear that owner hat, we're all alike. We all, probably the most impactful cultural thing I've noticed is, I'll take ERA or Remax as an example. Both great companies, but both were local offices.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're in a local office, your training comes from the local office level primarily, unless a big trainer from national is in town, or if you have a convention or do some sort of video-based training. Back then, I mean, we had Remax University, and you push play and watch something that was previously recorded. But training from the local level is usually done by the smartest agent in the room, or the most productive agent in the office. And he or she never trained 100% of their knowledge, because they knew at the end of the day, they were training their competitors that they worked with.
Sure.
And that's not been the case. I kind of expected that at EXP, but the collaboration core value is real. And that's just one of them. But that is so real. I wasn't with EXP, but 2 or 3 weeks, went to my very first shareholder meeting in the spring of 2018. I was blown away, because I saw the core values in the presentation that I was given. And I thought back to my pre-real estate days. I owned an IT services company for 20 years as well. And I called on Fortune 500 clients all over the Northeastern United States. And core values typically hung on the boardroom wall with the vision and the mission statement, but very seldom were they practiced in reality. So my expectation coming into EXP is, that's just BS. It's hanging out there. They're talking about that, but it's probably not real. Man, was I surprised.
Yeah.
Total strangers pouring into me in a shareholder meeting, didn't know me from Adam, knew I was a brand new agent with EXP, just telling everything, all their secrets. And it's not stopped. That's the way our culture is every day, as you know.
It's bizarre. Yeah. I had the same feeling. Core values. Yeah. It's just a little plaque. And, so, so you've built you're still running your team now, but your team, so you got your team, the Hollinden team, right? Or the Hollinden group?
Hollinden.
All right. Sorry. You probably hear that a million times, right?
I do. Everybody butchers that last name.
Yeah. So the Hollinden team, runs basically out of Kentucky and one other state, right? You're near the border of Louisiana? No.
Yeah. Well, personally, I'm licensed in 3 states: Indiana, Kentucky, and Alabama. I've got a second home in Alabama. I do a fair amount of real estate in the Gulf Coast, Orange Beach, Fort Morgan area down in South Alabama. But the border state you're referring to is Indiana. You cross the Ohio River from Kentucky to Indiana. But my team is primarily based in the Louisville, Kentucky market specifically, and the surrounding counties. We've about a 30 to 40 mile radius outside of the Louisville, Kentucky market.
Right. So you're still rocking and rolling doing that. But now there's another revenue stream that you have at EXP that's called revenue share, which you've been able to build an international exposure, where you actually just came back from Mexico, from Mazatlan, supporting your, that's what I call Team EE. Is I don't have a team, but I call everybody in my revenue share group Team EE. So, you have the Freedom Team. That's right. You're part of the Freedom Team, which is a bigger picture. But so tell me about this international expansion, and how could you this local broker, right, have people that you're gaining revenue off of in Mexico. How does that work?
Well, it's a very simple recruiting strategy. I like to call it agent attraction because I'm never salesy or pushy when it comes to recruiting an agent. And I do it for a total different reason. I honestly do it to give back to agents because it's unfortunate that the 1.4 million or whatever realtors are in the United States don't intimately understand our model, because I believe if they did, the majority of them would be with us today. So I just love the heck out of educating agents on how they can get paid as many as 8 ways. Top 3: commission, stock, revenue share, which we're talking about now. They're life changing. You can stay at your typical brokerage and get a split and pay fees or some derivative of both of those. Or you could be with EXP and get that, only probably a better split and lower fees. And in many cases, your fees are taken care of for you with doing certain things. Stock awards is just one example. But so I attracted agents in Kentucky to my Remax franchise, and I told you I grew it to 32, 33. I can't remember the final number. It was the 3rd largest Remax in the Louisville market. Remax Champions was its name. It's still in existence today to the people that I sold it to. Still own it. But my ability to recruit was local. Right. And what I found is about a 5 to 10 mile radius as the crow flies from the office, because if an agent wanted to be a Remax agent, they simply hung their license to the office that was closest to their home, so it was convenient when they had to go there. To contrast that, now today, and I don't have just 30 some agents, I have right around 280 agents in 4 countries and in 21 of the United States. It's because when I invite my dear friend who I interviewed last week, Aileen Fountain, for example, she's in the Gulf Shores, Alabama market. She looked at the EXP model, decided to join. And then, fast forward 4 years, she's got about 60, 70 agents in her organization that are part of my organization. And when I made the announcement I was moving to EXP Realty on Facebook, Elizabeth Monarch, who's now the Kentucky state broker for EXP, she called me on the phone and said, "Tim, what the heck? Why are so many agents going to EXP?" We literally conversed for an hour and a half on the phone. She joined me. She represents 50, 60, 70 agents in the organization, and it just grows. To answer your international question, I attracted Aileen. Aileen attracted Nancy, who's in Orange Beach, Alabama. Nancy attracted a lady in Portugal. Okay, now we're international. Lady in Portugal recruits people locally in the Portuguese market, and it just blows up like that. So that's been life-changing. In fact, I still sell about this much real estate, not counting what my team does. I still manage the Hollinden team in Louisville, but for the most part, I don't sell real estate anymore. I still work with family, with friends, with past clients that want to do business with me again. But I'm not out looking for new business other than for my team members in the Louisville market on the Hollinden team. And that satisfies the goal I originally told you I had, which was, multiple streams of income and being able to walk away from the transaction treadmill of real estate sales and literally live off of the stock and the monthly residual income, which has been also unbelievable. In fact, I didn't come to EXP to recruit agents. Agents I found were attracted to me and came to me. And then I said, God, holy crap. When you start seeing 4, 5, 6, 7,000 a month in residual income, I go, wow, what if I put a little time into this? What could it be? And it just explodes from there.
Exactly. And so it's obviously changed your life. So what has that done to your stress level? Imagine it's gone,
stress
right?
Level? Yeah. Well, I never felt it before, so I don't know any different. So maybe I'm still stressed. I don't know, but I still don't.
Well, you had to wait in line to get on a plane to go to Mazatlan. That's about the stress level, right?
Yep. That and going through customs and immigration and all that. I will tell you this. It's funny you bring up stress level. I did look at my heart monitor on my watch several times while I was gone. Like, holy crap, last week my heart rate was this, and this week it's down to this, because I was just, chilling in Mazatlan, hanging out with my agents down there in my organization, just having a good time. Yeah,
I saw some pictures on Facebook. It looked amazing.
Yeah, it was. And now I think they got a hurricane hitting them either late yesterday
Oh,
or early
no.
today. I got to check in with them this morning. I haven't talked to them yet today. I talked to them yesterday. They were good. They expected it to slow down and maybe not be a direct hit, but prayers go out to all those
good.
folks. I tell you, it's a horrible thing.
Yeah, I know that the Florida, Southwest Florida coast, terrible.
Yeah.
But anything you'd like to add? I have one more question, but anything you'd like to add to wrap this up?
Well, I would say, again, without any pressure, I believe we should understand things we don't understand. So my message would be to the real estate agents out there that are maybe watching this today, that if you haven't seen a presentation on eXp Realty and truly understand what it could do to your family, you need to at least learn. Don't come to eXp, but know what you're saying no to. I talk to agents all the time, and the first thing they say is, no, I'm not interested. And I want to say, well, how do you know you're not interested? You really don't even know anything about our model per what you've told me.
Yeah.
So I would say, agents, keep an open mind and just look at it, because it truly is life-changing for the agents that have joined us. And, we wouldn't be adding 500 to 1,000 agents every single week if it wasn't truly amazing. If nothing else, learn why those 500 to 1,000 a week are coming. You don't have to come, but learn why they did.
Well, I mean, we talked about this when I joined in September of 2019. There were 22,000 agents. Now there's 85,000 agents, and you joined when there was how many?
6,800.
6,800
in the world.
In the world, right? And I kind of have an answer to your topic there of why an agent just says, no, I'm not interested, because they're so used to getting recruited, like people calling them. And if I hear it one more time that they gave me an offer I couldn't refuse, well, you don't get this model if you think that offer you can't refuse, because that offer doesn't go over 100%. Where I know too many people now at eXp that make way over 100% because of the other streams of income. So what about brokerages though? What about small brokerages, medium, even larger brokerages? How can they benefit by getting aligned with eXp?
Wow.
Coming from a guy that owned his own brokerage.
Yeah. Thank you for that question. I mean, obviously I can talk about that. And you hit a nerve there, because I think the number is around 450 brokerages partnered with eXp last year alone. There's a reason for that too. A broker in a city and state that has a physical office, they have the liability that comes with it. Not only on somebody getting hurt on their property, but they have the legal liability of all the licensees that they are responsible for legally.
Yeah.
They have the E&O expense. They have if they have a physical office, and most of them do. Why, I don't know anymore, because most agents don't even come to the office. My RE/MAX agents weren't even coming into the office 5 years ago. Very, very few did. But the broker can eliminate all of their legal liability from the real estate commission standpoint. They can eliminate the rent expense or the mortgage payment on the office that they reside in. And when you have an office, you have the electric bill and the gas bill and the rest of the utilities and the taxes and the insurance. And then it comes down to what's in the office, the coffee and the water and the fax machines and the computer machine, the phone systems. And you've got to keep up with technology. eXp has one little fee of $85 a month. And that broker can get everything done for them in his office by bringing his agents to eXp for that $85 a month, for that $16,000 cap if he or she's a producing broker, and eliminate all those liabilities. And like me, and I'm very average. I'm not special. I'm not any better than anybody watching this. I had a 30-some agent RE/MAX firm, and now I get paid on 280 agents in 4 countries. Every broker owner could do that. A brokerage of 400. I have good friends, Gene Frederick, Mitch Caper, lots of people. I could name a handful that brought hundreds of people with them that are now thousands of people they get paid on. And this isn't hurting the agents they attracted. It's all additive. It's all the company giving back half of the revenue they take in every single month out of their share that they kept. It doesn't impact the agent that's attracted at all. So does that
Exactly.
answer your question about the brokerage?
Absolutely. Yeah. And don't forget the training, like training all the agents in your brokerage. Like this training is just so different. That's what I try to show people too, is that, like you mentioned, the top agents in the office do the training in a small brokerage, right? But they don't give away their secrets. Well, here, the top agents in the world or the country, do the training because the ICON agents are encouraged to teach a class, but they give up all their secrets because they want to see the company continue to grow. So to train your agents and stay up on the technology, like you said, $85 a month and you're up on the technology. They keep introducing new stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And so it really is amazing. It's not too good to be true. But hey, I was the same way. You heard my story. I thought it was too good to be true.
Yep.
Fortunately, I looked at it a little deeper and made the decision. But that's the way it is. So one thing I actually, I'm going to say I learned this mostly from Jay Kinder. When he came to town, when I first joined EXP, he was doing a book signing, and he did a presentation, a book signing for the Miracle Morning for real estate agents that he co-authored with Michael Reese and I don't know, whoever the other guy is, right?
Maybe.
No. There, it doesn't matter. But because he wrote more than one Miracle Morning. The main author wrote Miracle Morning, and then Miracle Morning for Real Estate Agents is just got more stuff in there. But one of the things he taught me at that meeting was to read 10 pages a day. Like you think you don't have time to read. And if you just read 10 pages a day, that's like 300 pages a month, right? So you're reading 12 books a year, pretty much, for the most part. So I started reading a bunch of different books, and I just love it. And it brought me back to the one that changed, had the most impact in my life, which was, probably 30 years ago. But I wanted to ask you, what book do you cherish that maybe made the most impact in your life? And it doesn't have to be just real estate or self-help or whatever.
Well, on a personal side, I would say the Bible.
Okay.
I've been through it multiple times, and you're always pulling something different out of it. But just engaging daily can be life-changing because you're constantly thinking differently. On the real estate side, I would have to say Tom Ferry's book entitled Life by Design. And the premise of it is basically you can live your life by design, or the alternative is you're living by default. So do you want to control your life and make something happen, or do you want to just react to what happens to you? That's the paraphrase. But I read that book in 2 or 3 hours, and I literally had about 20 pages of legal pad, single space notes, because what I was doing was I was building my plan for my first real robust real estate team that ended up changing my life through the 20-year story that I've told you about. Because I built a team early on, and I didn't do it for the money. I did it to have a life, because I didn't want to be working all day and all night, 7 days a week, because it's just like that gives you no time freedom. It gives you no location freedom. And that's my goal with every agent I work with today. I want to give them financial freedom, time freedom, and location freedom, meaning having the money to do whatever you want, when you want, with whomever you want, wherever you want, and not have to worry about anything really. So I'm a fairly avid reader. I could probably name 50 books. I've got 40 started on my bookshelf there, and some I've finished and recently, and some I haven't. But that's probably the most impactful one from a real estate perspective.
Good. I'm sure you're impacting lives now. with
Thank you.
280 people in your group, and you're changing lives, and that's what it's all about. And
Yep.
I like your story. I appreciate your time getting on here with me.
Yeah, my
And
pleasure.
yep. And then how can people reach out to you if somebody needs to reach out to you in the Kentucky area or any area, I guess?
Yep. Well, my team's website is Louisville Homes Fast, LOUISVILLE, Homes, HOMES, Fast, FAST.com. My personal cell phone is 502-387-2932. And of course, you can Google Tim Hollinden and catch me a lot of places that way too.
Absolutely. Well, hey, it was great chatting with you, and wish you the best of luck. And
Yeah, thank you.
We'll see you on the flip side.
Sounds good, man. Thanks for having me on today, Ed.
Hey,
Have a
thank
great
you.
day.
All right, take care.
All right, you too.